So this is He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. And this song uses just two chords. We're going to use the C chord and the G7 chord. And the two chords that we're using are the abridged version of the C and the G7 chord. You're going to, for the C chord, use the first finger on the first fret of the B string, which is string number 2, and you're going to strum strings 3, 2, and 1. And the other chord that we're going to use is the G7. The G7 is played by placing your first finger on the first fret of the E string, which is string number 1, and you're going to strum strings 3, 2, and 1. So for this song, we're going to do a simple strum on the beat, a down strum. So it would go something like this. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, brother, in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, in his hands. He's got everybody here in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Now, eventually, we would learn the full C chord and the full G chord. And I'm going to show those to you now because we will get there. The full C chord uses 3 fingers. We had the third finger on the third fret of the A string, which is string number 5. The second finger on the second fret of the D string, which is string number 4. And the first finger on the first fret of the B string, which is string number 2. And for this chord, you would strum strings 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I would go to a G chord for the next chord. And for that chord, you're going to press your second finger on the third fret of the E string, which is string number 6, your first finger on the second fret of the A string, which is string number 5, and your third finger on the third fret of the E string, which is string number 1. Which would turn the song into this. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. But rather than starting with this full C chord and the full G chord, I like to show my students the abridged version of the C chord and the G7 chord. because that is a pretty, a much easier movement to go from that C with the first finger on the B string to the G7 with your first finger on the E string, as opposed to that would be the full G7. G7 is third finger on the third fret of the E string, second finger on the second fret of the A string, and your first finger on the first fret of the E string. Here's your full C chord and your full G7 chord. And that's that.